Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening. First tonight, Tasmania's travel voucher scheme has kicked off with a bang, with thousands of vouchers snapped up in less than an hour of the initiative going live. While many struck gold, others were left severely disappointed and frustrated at missing out. But there could be a solution.
This year has devastated our tourism industry. Here at Bonorong Wildlife Park, while the animals are still as intriguing, less people are seeing them.
Obviously numbers are still way down, and I think for a lot of businesses like ours, we probably have more locals come through when they have friends and relatives visiting from the mainland.
The government launching a lifeline at 9 this morning.
Tasmanians have turned up in spades, and the tourism voucher has been a roaring success.
The $7.5 million initiative made available to all Tasmanians who registered to entice them to visit struggling businesses.
Support a local Tassie business and hopefully find a little gem.
We've certainly got our fingers crossed that people will come to Westbury and use the travel vouchers in this area.
The accommodation and experience vouchers so popular, around 550 packages were snapped up a minute, more than 21,000 overall.
In fact, in the first 4 minutes, there was more than $1 million in vouchers issued.
We are thrilled at the reaction today, and we're confident Tasmanians will get out there, and they need to get out there and start spending these vouchers sooner than later.
But there's criticism. The website was too slow and left people waiting only to find out they'd missed out. Within 40 minutes, the vouchers were all gone.
No, I didn't actually get time, and I thought I'd have a few days to claim it because I didn't think they'd sell out this fast.
It's good they've done this, but no, because not everyone got the chance of getting it. I reckon old Tasmanians should have had the chance of getting some sort of voucher.
Claims too, the scheme's unfair and will only benefit certain groups.
People who can afford to travel during the week, can afford to sit in front of a computer for an hour at 9 o'clock on a Monday morning and have a computer to do that in front of in the first place.
I know that there will be some disappointed Tasmanians, but I always said this was a first in, best dressed arrangement, and to be frank, Tasmanians have supported this in spades.
Hinting if all goes well, there could be another round. Best if that happens to get in quick before they're gone. Louise Hobart, 7 Tasmania News.
In developing news, a proposal for a controversial new 45-unit apartment block in Hobart will go ahead after it was passed by Hobart City Council late this afternoon. The revised application by Fragrance Group is for the demolition of the University of Tasmania's Conservatorium of Music building on Sandy Bay Road. In its place, 2 new apartment blocks will be built. A previous proposal was recommended for refusal after the building was deemed too high for the site, but the new plan was revised to lower the building height and with 10 fewer apartments. A proposed new pig abattoir near Scottsdale will need to address multiple issues, including odour mitigation, before it's ticked off by the Environment Protection Authority. The EPA says the Springfield development could be managed in an environmentally sustainable and acceptable manner if all conditions were met. If it goes ahead, the site, close to the Scottsdale pork piggery, would process 120 pigs a day, around 2,000 tonnes of product a year. A world-leading Tasmanian invention to help save critically ill babies is set to become even safer. Local researchers have been improving a device that delivers oxygen by making the small masks fit better. It's hoped a funding boost will progress trials for the new model outside Tasmania.
The plan is to undertake more advanced clinical trials locally and at other hospitals interstate in the neonatal intensive care for critically ill babies who can't breathe, and it's about making Cpap safer.
Breathing difficulty is one of the major challenges that preterm babies face soon after their birth. This device is an adjunct, allowing the staff to apply Cpap better.
$250,000 has been allocated to the project through Melbourne's Actuator program. Tasmania now has another state-of-the-art facility to better train future healthcare workers as demand for the profession continues to grow. TasTAFE hoping major upgrades to one of its Launceston campuses will better prepare students out on the job.
Patients tucked up in bed in a hospital ward that could pass as the real thing. After a first look, this nursing student is blown away.
The walkthrough that I've done this morning, it's amazing to see how real it is to compare to an actual ward.
Major upgrades completed here at the Allan Vale TasTAFE campus, aiming to provide a hands-on, realistic experience for the future workforce.
When our students exit here, they are really used to working in a clinical environment that is at the standard that they'll expect in the environments they come out and get jobs in.
It's going to make it beneficial for students to be able to practice like in a real environment before heading out into the real hospitals.
$1.5 million poured into creating spaces for nursing, aged care and disability training, part of a $4 million investment into campuses statewide.
We are continuing to invest in Allan Vale. It's a wonderful environment with which to train and work, and it's important that we modernise all our training infrastructure across the state.
And with COVID-19 creating a tough year for the sector, it's hoped the facility will help prepare new health staff for what's next.
That it could do anything in these facilities, so it could really prepare the students for what's going to come ahead of the future.
Ruby Kamane, 7 Tasmania News.
More of Tasmania's picturesque backyard is now being protected with a new nature reserve established on the east coast. 1,500 hectares of bush near Buckland have been bequeathed by a family, especially for preservation. The Tasmanian Land Conservancy says the area, cut through by the Prosser River, houses 11 threatened animal and plant species, including the critically endangered black gum and the swift parrot. The reserve is yet to be formally named. A community group helping disadvantaged learner drivers get behind the wheel has been bolstered today, receiving a brand new car for teaching. Buchan House offers driving hours and experience to those without access to a vehicle. Organisers say obtaining a licence is a major stepping stone to other opportunities.
A lot of the jobs that are going in the area you need your licence for.
The young people that participate go on to further things, so education, employment, new skills, new life. That feeling of freedom opens doorways for people, really changes lives.
The You Can Drive program has helped 32 learners so far. A ghost town on the state's west coast is about to undergo its biggest transformation in nearly a century. The hotel at Linda, 15 minutes from Queenstown, has lay in ruins since nearby mining deposits dried up. But a new owner is taking over and leaning on one of Linda's locals for inspiration.
This is Linda, a ghost town abandoned by miners and lost to history, except for its hotel, a big, brutal concrete building cutting through the bush around it and catching the eye of a modern-day explorer.
Well, like everybody who drives past it, I was just immediately drawn to it. I loved it, and I just started dreaming from that moment.
Zara Trihe now holds the key to the hotel, at least figuratively. There's no doors to unlock, of course, but to really understand its past, you need to talk to 88-year-old Joan Evans, who lived in the hotel until she was 14.
What was Linda like as a town back when you were growing up?
Good, lovely, yes. Everybody was happy and everyone knew each other and we all had lots of fun.
Her father managed the hotel. Her mum was the cook. The fireplace in Joan's old bedroom is still here. The memories are too.
We cried before we left and we cried after, weeks after. And we didn't want to leave Linda at all.
She even kept a glass.
That's what they used to drink, and the men used to have a bit bigger one than that one.
So that was for ladies?
That's the ladies, yep, and the men had those, so they were a bit bigger than that.
Today, you can only imagine the hotel at its peak. What would the entrance to the hotel have looked like? What would greet weary travellers as they set foot inside? It's this emotion and history the new owner wants to encapsulate when Linda lives again.
Last drinks were poured here a long time ago in 1952. So the way I see it, there's no real expectation for anything to happen immediately, and we're just going to kind of feel it out and see what the country needs and what the people want.
At first, Zara will reopen the adjoining cafe, baking fresh bread for the West Coast, before her brother Matthew, who specialises in working with concrete, moves across from Victoria for the main renovation.
I think that if you can create something special for people in a remote place, they come.
Just like they did all those years ago. Tom Johnson, 7 Tasmania News.
A phone app which connects customers directly to food producers is being expanded to include local eateries. From today, 50 Tasmanian cafes and restaurants feature on the We Eat Local app, including Grain of the Silos, which sources 80% of its fresh produce locally. Chefs and producers say it's a valuable tool for making the most of what we grow here.
It's better for our pockets when we're eating well and local because it's seasonal, it's a much better price and it's better for you.
We love working directly with restaurants. We don't like using any sort of middleman because we want to talk about what they're doing with their food.
7,000 people have downloaded the We Eat Local app since it launched in April. Many of Australia's native animals are on the brink of extinction, with disease, loss of habitat and human interference just some of the causes. In this state, a breeding program is helping to boost Tasmanian devil numbers and hopes to raise awareness of animal conservation as we mark National Threatened Species Day.
Unique to Australia but facing extinction, a deadly disease has seen Tasmanian devil numbers plummet.
The main threat for the Tassie devils will be devil facial tumour disease, and basically that only began in the 1990s, but since then we've had an 85% decline in devil population.
Today is National Threatened Species Day, marking the death of the last Tasmanian tiger. Wildlife experts hope we can learn from that species' extinction and protect our native animals from a similar fate.
They are vitally important to the Tasmanian ecosystem. So without devils, we've noticed a lot of changes in the environment where they've declined, and that's led to increases of feral cats.
Devils at Cradle hopes its breeding program will help boost Tasmanian devil numbers. A mother can give birth to up to 40 joeys, but only 4 can survive in her pouch. This little guy is about 6 months old and has only recently left his mother's pouch. He's now being hand-raised to ensure his survival and to help mum out. These Tasmanian devil may look cute and cuddly, but they have the most powerful jaw in the world for the size of their body.
Whilst they're no threat to humans, definitely if you were to be a paddy melon, you'd be a little bit worried around the presence of a devil.
Elizabeth O'Neill, 7 Tasmania News.
To the RACT Insurance TSL Player of the Year votes now after round 9. We saw another best on ground performance from Joby Harper after racking up 38 touches against the Pies. Clarence defender Sam Banks had a strong game against Lauderdale, netting 3 votes. And North Launceston tall Alex Lee was best of field against North Hobart. Harper's extended his lead on top of the tally. He's now 5 votes clear of fellow Blue Dylan Riley. Jackson Callow, Kieran Lovell and Alex Lee are all on 7. Harper is of course the clear front-runner in the Player of the Year votes after producing one of the best individual displays of the season. Amazingly though, he woke up crook on the morning of the game. Harper's snap from the sidelines was among a long highlights reel against a hapless Pies, but he wasn't primed for a big day out.
I actually woke up and wasn't feeling well. I was quite crook in the morning.
His medication was a whopping 38 disposals, 13 marks, 12 inside 50s and 3 goals. Harper is something of a journeyman, having played at South Launceston, Western Storm and Burnie, leaving each as they pulled out of the TSL. He says what the Blues have going is good.
To be honest, I think there's a better camaraderie and it's a lot better atmosphere at Launceston this year than what I have been in many clubs in the past.
Perhaps symbolised best by the reaction to debutant Isaac Hyatt's first TSL goal.
Well, there's a highlight. They've lifted him up, the youngster.
He loved it and the biggest smile on his face when we were singing the song, and I think it meant a lot to him.
Someone else loving their footy, James Holmes, who booted 2 on the weekend after finally convincing coach Jeremy Webberley to move him out of the back line.
I had been putting it in his head for 2 years, and start of this year I sort of gave up on it because I didn't think it would happen. And yeah, rocked up Thursday and yeah, he told me he would swing me forward and I was like, about time.
South Hobart's semi-final win in the Lacko Seljack Cup was well-deserved, according to the coach.
I think we probably deserved it over the 90 minutes. We had more possession and good control of the game at times, so I was very pleased with the effort and commitment.
There's no national FFA Cup to reward this year's Lacko Seljack champion, but the defending title holder says there's no doubt the format will return.
It was always the big A-League team against the underdogs, and it was always exciting. So I hope it's around for a long time.
Elsewhere, fourth runner Dion Kenzie is among the first 10 para-athletes named for Tokyo. Kenzie's best Paralympic result is silver in the 1500 metres at Rio. And the Formula 3 claimed a chunk of the field at Monza, but Hobart's Alex Peroni was far luckier, moving up a place to 5th post-race after 5 drivers were handed time penalties. Peroni is 9th overall.
Good evening. Bushy Park, Ouse, Strawn and Hobart our maximum today with 23 degrees. Launceston 19, Burnie 18 and Devonport 17. Some temperatures up on average by as much as 8 degrees as warm air from further north was blown over the state. Grove 22, Friendly Beaches and Flinders Island 21, King Island and St Helens 20, Wynyard 18 and Lowhead 17 today. A middle-level cloud band crossed the state. No rainfall of note during the 6 hours to 3 p.m. That band of cloud is ahead of a cold front also pushing cover through the Bight. To the west, a cold pool of air is behind the front, convective cloud over Queensland and parts of New South Wales. Tomorrow the cold front will arrive and cross Tasmania as another high forms over the Bight. North to northwesterly winds 20 to 30 knots, reaching up to 35 knots over the west. They should shift west-southwesterly during the day. We have swells to 3 metres. With the blowy conditions, a gale warning between South East Cape and Sandy Cape has been issued, a strong wind warning for remaining coastal waters and also for the inland lakes. Forecast for tomorrow, a shower or two for Hobart and winds easing, a top of 18 degrees. Adventure Bay a shower and 16, 14 the top for Tarraleah. Launceston a shower or two clearing, 18 the high, 16 for Devonport, showers clearing from Bridport, 16 the top. Burnie tomorrow expecting 16 degrees with morning showers, winds easing from the west, Strawn 18 and Marrawar 17 and showers clearing from the east as well. St Helens 19, Swansea the same and 19 the top for Whitemark. Fine and mostly sunny on Wednesday, maybe just a light shower over the west and far south. Frost and fog to kick things off on Thursday, but a fine partly cloudy day to follow. And on Friday, showers extending to most districts during the afternoon and evening. Partly cloudy in Perth and Adelaide, showers developing over Melbourne, mostly sunny conditions over Canberra and Sydney, partly cloudy and 24 in Brisbane. Still cloudy over Tasmania, 18 degrees right now in Hobart, 13 in Launceston and 12 degrees in Devonport. That's the weather done, Kim.
Thank you very much, Murph. That is the news done as well. I'll be back later with updates. Thanks for joining us tonight. See you tomorrow. Good night.